Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in pop culture. So that's going to be TV, movies, video games, all that good stuff. And we're going to do a little speculation and news, all those things related to superheroes. I am Mode Poupée, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and of course, lover of all things superhero, Ladi. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Actually, going to start a stream up later after this podcast, so
Yep.
yeah, I'm doing good. Ready to talk about this news as well.
Right. We're gonna end the week strong. It's been a busy week for both of us. That's where we're getting in a little late this week, but not too late because there's a ton of stuff that's come out this week that we got to talk about. In particular, this whole
Mhm.
episode, episode 23 of the Supercast, which we're calling the DC Fan-Dimmadome, where we're going to be talking about everything important that you need to know or care about that happened at the DC Fandome, the DC fan event that happened last weekend. And so we're going to cover all of that stuff. But before that, as usual, we're going to get into some news. In particular, there's a new trailer for the Hit Monkey animated show coming from Marvel for Hulu. The Eternals is out, and some people that got to see it are spoiling everything. There's a little discussion we're going to have about diversity, and Backlash is against diversity, and that, of course, is relating to Superman, Superman news from this last week, and to Eternals. A little background, dirt about Marvel TV and how they kept Kevin Feige from using the likes of Ghost Rider and Daredevil in the MCU.
Mhm.
The strike that didn't quite happen, but is it gone away yet? Is it going to keep us from seeing new movies? Not sure. We're going to talk about the IATSE strike. Marvel movies and TV get delayed, so we're going to look at those changes to the dates, and we got some rumors. Is there going to be a World War Hulk show, maybe, or maybe even movie? And did Charlie Cox, Charlie Cox, maybe is he going to be in Spider-Man 4? So we're going to check all of that stuff out in the news, which comes up right now. Lottie, I told you this is a hell of a week. It seems chock full of stuff. So let's do some kind of quick runs at some of these things. Let's talk about rumors. We all love the Hulk. Everyone loves Hulk. Professor Hulk was instrumental in Avengers Endgame. He smashed the shit out of things in the first Avengers, and he was off planet kicking ass on Sakaar. So you
Yep.
would think that there's no way that there's going to be a Planet Hulk because basically that's what happened in Thor, Thor Ragnarok. But rumors flying around that out of She-Hulk, where the She-Hulk TV series, where we know we're going to see Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, that somehow they're going to spin out either a TV show or a movie about World War Hulk. So uh, I don't know how likely is this actually. I'm skeptical, but I wonder what do you think? And do you know Planet Hulk, right?
Yeah, I know Planet Hulk. First of all, so how is this going to happen? Does She Hulk suplex somebody so hard that they're like, no more green people on our planet, and just launches them into space? Because She Hulk is, we all know she's a lawyer,
hmm
and what so
And wait a minute, not just a lawyer. She's what if Hulk? You know how Professor Hulk controls himself? She controls
yeah.
herself all the time, so she literally never hulks out. She can get hulkish, but she doesn't go like crazy Hulk, mindless.
Well, you don't know. They might use the one where she did coke out because there was a comic book that recently came out this year where she went like world breaker She Hulk
Right,
and like lost control and Hulk had to like put her down. Well,
right,
didn't kill her, but he had to beat the shit out of beat the shit out of her.
right.
But
Well, but I think it's weird. Like if World War Hulk is literally about Hulk, smart Hulk, Gladiator Hulk coming back to take out the Illuminati. And
Yeah.
so I question. I want to say this: if this is real, it's not that story. It's something.
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna
something
be
else.
something else. And it's just I don't I mean, it's like one of the things you say, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's just like because I want that Planet Hulk, the Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. I want the one that came in the comic book, but I think it's pretty clear the MCU doesn't do the comic books exactly. They're gonna do their own little run at it, and so maybe and Abomination is supposed to be in She Hulk also. So maybe this is an expansion, and in fact, if they were smart, they would bring the Red Hulks in also. And if that's the case, World War Hulk would make a lot more sense if there's more Hulks around
Hmm.
to fight each other rather than the other superheroes having to fight them. So it's again a rumor. It could be interesting, but it doesn't make any sense right now to me. But we'll see when She-Hulk comes out next year. Also, Charlie Cox. Guys, we keep saying like, is he going to be in Spider-Man: No Way Home? Was that his arm in the trailer, so forth and so on, and he never quite dispelled the rumors about it. But the rumor I saw was that he has signed on to be Matt Murdock slash Daredevil in Spider-Man 4. Um, so we're not even at Spider-Man
Hmm.
3 yet, or Spider-Man No Way Home. We're not even there yet, but they're signing it up for the next one. Um, which, by the way, could go in line with the fact that apparently I read this today that Sony and Marvel have set a couple of dates for the next two Spider Verse Marvel movies.
Hmm.
So, is this real or is this more insider info that doesn't pan out?
I'll say it's both. I'm gonna say he makes a cameo, but it's not the cameo that we expect. Because I feel like at this point, I feel like all these movie directors, video game designers, all these people who make stuff like this, they see the fans and what they're doing and all this stuff, and they troll us. They troll us now. They're gonna be like, oh, you want him in the movie? Okay, we'll put him in the movie, but he's gonna be like a citizen, and Spider Man will accidentally drop like a red mask, and he's like, "Huh, this mask looks cool," but he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some crazy something like that. It's just I've seen it happen so many times in like movies and video games. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, so he's in the game, or he's in the game or the movie." Or of course, or he or she turns out they're really not what you expect. It's a little ass cameo. You know what I mean? It's That's how I feel this is gonna happen. They're like, we'll do this so you guys can shut up and leave us alone.
Or that man, they can't be teasing like that because that's people get so upset about these things, and people really love Charlie Cox's his version of Daredevil, which I'm gonna say if he does show up in the MCU, it's not gonna be that one. It's gonna be similar, but it's like you can be assured that the Netflix stuff wouldn't have happened that way. But if he does show up, it's not. It's gonna be like a variation of that guy. Um, I'm gonna say I'm pretty much believe this because there's a lot of smoke surrounding this particular story, this particular rumor, and I understand that Kevin Feige really liked the Netflix Daredevil. So why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he bring him on? So I'm gonna say I believe it. So those are our rumors for the week. But moving on, we got some like we got a few things that happened this week that are concrete that we can actually hold in our hands, or at least watch with our eyes. So
Hmm.
Marvel's Hit Monkey trailer dropped this week. Um, this is one of the
Okay.
last. This is one of the last things that Marvel Entertainment, this which would be the TV, kind of the TV side, had greenlit and put money into. So, as a part of the consolidation process with Marvel Studios to take over all of the Marvel stuff, they just, this was already made, so they basically are just going to put it out. It's going to drop all at once. I think it's November 17th. But I got a chance. I got a chance to look at the trailer. We had a teaser for it like not too long ago, and you watched the trailer. So I mean, are you gonna watch this? What is this something that maybe like is in your wheelhouse?
I'm trying to remember. What did that wrestler say? Hail to the yes! I'm watching this. Listen, man. Look, I grew. See, fun fact, guys. Of course, you guys know I am a '90s kid. What was one of the biggest things that came out in the late '90s, early 2000s?
Late. Go ahead.
Spike.
Hmm.
It was the rise of Spike slash Adult Swim. This reminds me so much of those animated TV shows that came out on Spike, Adult Swim, and I absolutely for it. I'm watching it day one. I do not like Hulu whatsoever, but I'm going to borrow someone's Hulu to watch this shit.
Yeah, it's like if John Wick were a little monkey, and then had a ghost guy that was just
Oh, that
that's
monkey.
following around. It looks ridiculous and hilarious, um, and stupidly violent, and it's obviously going to be R-rated because they're dropping F-bombs and whatever in it. And why not? I say why not. This is the thing is this is going to be a one and done. I'm certain they're going to get one season, and Marvel's never going to touch it again. At least not Marvel Studios, because they've got enough plates spinning in the air right now to not to waste it on what's essentially a one-off sort of novelty character. But I
Mhm.
kind of love the fact that Marvel Entertainment decided to go forward with this, and we're gonna get it. And when it drops, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it is the John Wick with them as a monkey. I really hope that's true, and he's in Japan fighting people with swords and yakuza. Should be fun, and we'll review it when it drops.
Yep.
Mentioned that Eternals came out, and of course, actually Eternals is getting some pretty good reviews. I think it's at 85 or something like that, maybe more percent on Rotten Tomatoes. There's a bunch of industry insiders that have gotten to see it a couple weeks in advance because they live in L.A. or whatever, and they're influencers or whatever. And Variety, the couple of the reviewers for Variety, which is a very well respected trade in Hollywood, uh, it's fucking spoiled the movie. They're sitting up there spoiling movies on their review or their reaction
Yeah.
reviews or whatever.
Yeah. This is why I
Um,
don't watch none of that bullshit.
what
None
this?
of
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally check Variety straight up, but a lot of people on social media were like, "Fuck those guys," and I say yes to that. I mean, they haven't spoiled me on anything because as soon as I realized that shit was happening, I like completely started ignoring everything related to Eternals on social media. But can we just agree those guys suck ass and
that.
they need
Listen,
they need to like be banned from going to any advanced press screenings for at least for a year so they can get a fucking message in their head. It's like
uh,
that's some trash behavior.
yeah. Let me tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's this sort of behavior is like this not in just like movies. It's in video games and all this stuff too, because the privilege, because they are privileged. I'm not saying privilege in the racial way. I'm saying privilege as in they have of following. They get these movies and video games before us, and instead of being understanding and just reviewed the game or movie without spoiling it, they will straight up spoil the game, and it's such asshole behavior. I hate that when a new video game comes out that I'm like a fan of, I can't watch YouTube because these assholes who get the game first, who get it like a week before us, beat the game, and instead of being using common sense, they would literally put what happens in the fucking game in their title of the video. And you're not even trying to spoil it. You're just scrolling through YouTube and like I'm gonna get great example. I remember when Doom Eternal come out. All these dudes got Doom Eternal like a week before everybody else, and they're like, "Oh my god!" So Doom guy. So Doom guy got his powers from this guy, and I'm like, what? Why would you put that in the fucking title of the game? Well, I mean, of the video. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck? You literally, I literally think they do this so they can piss people off, so they can get clicks and clicks, so people will be like, oh fuck you. They don't care because at the end of the day,
It's about
it's
that
like,
money.
yeah, at the end of the day, no matter, like, that's why I tell people this all the time on YouTube, whatever. Even if you go on there and leave a nasty comment berating them, they get paid for that. If you leave a dislike, they get paid for that. That's why they say like, dislike, whatever, because they don't care, because they get paid for it. You know what I mean? The most disliked video on YouTube, a guy made almost $100,000 off of it because he doesn't care. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It just it's so annoying that it's like this in today's culture. And to be honest with you, man, I really think video games and movies, the movie industry, need to stop doing this. Stop giving these people the game before other people, because you know what
But
this causes?
they have to do that though. This see
Not really though,
no
because
the
if you ruin it,
no the reason why the reason why they have to do it is because not everyone is like you and me, and we're just gonna like jump at the like for me every movie that looks like it's sort of decent, I'm gonna run out and see. And I know you play a lot of video games, so the thing is that not everyone is like that. A lot of people don't see more than a few movies a year, so they want to know in advance what does somebody think about it, and and they need to get the buzz going, because when buzz going, that means that they get potentially more ticket sales or more retail sales for games. They have to
mhm,
do that. This is I don't have a problem with advanced copies. I have a problem with irresponsible
the people that they give it
journalists.
to.
Yeah, I
I
mean
think I
these
think that's what
yeah
I really meant.
they need to go
They
back to
should.
well, I'm sorry, they need to go back to signing NDAs that have real consequences.
Yeah, that we
Getting
won't
banned
give
from
you
that.
the,
Yeah,
yeah, like you won't get any of it, because it's so ridiculous, because it's like somebody, like, for example, me. I'm a Metroid fan. I had, like, when Metroid Dread came out, I had to go into my YouTube and say, do not show me any Metroid content whatsoever, because I know there's going to be a fucking asshole that's going to ruin the game for me in the title. And that's what I have to do from now on. Anytime a video game comes out, I have to go onto my YouTube or Google account and say, do not show me this shit,
hmm
because they're going to ruin. Like I sort of got ruined with Metroid, because I remember I'm at work and I'm just scrolling through my Google feed, and it's like, oh, Kraid is in, like, the title of the article is like, Kraid is in Metroid Dread. I'm like, this fucking asshole. Instead of just saying the bosses in Metroid Dread are cool, Kraid is in Metroid Dread. These fucking, it's so fucking annoying that people like this get the games before everybody else and ruin the game for people. And I know they get a kick out of it.
right.
And to be honest with you, it's like, to be honest with you, all these companies need to take notice, because if you, like, I remember one of my friends told me he's not buying, he didn't buy Last of Us 2 because everybody ruined the game for him.
Right.
Because at the time, you already know this is going to lead into our next conversation. The whole thing about the homosexuality and all that stuff in the game, people were just like on one side or another. There was barely anybody in the middle, so people were screaming at each other or putting up videos and stuff. Like, I remember my friend Anthony. He liked Last of Us 1, but when Last of Us 2 came out, all the people he watches on YouTube, for some reason, they hate the game so much that the people that don't even do video games, they don't even play video games, have a discussion of why Last of Us 2 sucks. And he's like, this guy just ruined the whole game for me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
And it's just like, it's so annoying. And I really think that's like, all these companies to cut that shit off, because you're actually taking money out of people, out of their pockets, doing shit like that.
Right. No. Yeah. I just think they need to clamp down on these guys and make them sign papers, and so they won't be, and also just get better people. Like Variety, do better. Just do better. And all you dickholes out there that want to spoil stuff for people, just find something better to do with your life. Like, why would you
Yeah.
why would you rob people of joy
Yeah.
of finding things out? So, and
Yep.
also everyone that doesn't want to be spoiled, stay the hell off the internet until you see the thing. There you go. So,
It's unfortunate that
problem
it's like
solved.
that. It's like that. It's really unfortunate that you got to do that nowadays.
Yeah, but I
It's so
mean,
damn unfortunate.
everyone just takes some responsibility. That's all. So yeah, screw those guys. You were speaking about our next thing we're going to talk about. I kind of titled it just kind of diversity and the backlash against it. This has been some shit that's been going on in fandom for a long time. It's just not new to fandom in the last 5 years or 10 years. Fandom of certain genre, science fiction used to be hard about this too, but superheroes, comic books. Whenever there's something new, it's kind of, you know, nerds, comic book fans, all that stuff are more conservative than they have any right to be, because by and large, the people that the stories that are written are about tolerance and all that stuff, but intolerance
Hmm.
reigns supreme amongst certain segments of nerd and genre culture. So to that end, some things happened this week. Some news came out this week that upset a lot of people who are extremely sensitive about that. I think they call these people snowflake. I heard people calling people snowflakes and shit like that when it comes to being bothered by being called homophobic things or racial things. So stop being a snowflake. So said people were acting like snowflakes when we found out this week that the new Superman, not the one we know, but the new Superman, the son of Superman that's taken over the job, uh, is a bisexual young man. And I guess he was kissing some guy on a cover or something. I don't know. And in the same week, like within the same number of days, and we saw this at Fandom, DC Fandom, the new motto for Superman, again, this new Superman, is truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. And both of these things have got two groups of people, losing their fucking minds. Uh, One group of people is a bunch of nerds who are old school or whatever, they fans of Superman. They're losing their fucking mind about this. But the people who are really losing their mind, and for no reason at all, are conservatives. So politically conservative people whose uh, their hallmark seems to be hating on people that don't look like them or act or don't act like them or whatever. And so you had dum dums like Dean Cain, who is the shittiest Superman in the history of Superman, and that counts even going back to the Supermans from way back in the 50s and 60s. Just he's a trash Superman. But he's talking about what Superman stands for and all this, and apparently he doesn't want his Superman to be remotely like he might be gay or bisexual or whatever. Like that somehow makes Superman less manly or some shit like that. And then of course he freaked the fuck out about truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, because it used to be the American way. Um, I'm sure
Truth, ju-
I'm editorializing a lot in here. Uh, but so you kind of know where I'm going with that as far as my opinion. But also at the same time, Kevin Feige was like, "Hey, yeah, we gotta, one of the Eternals is gay and he's married and has a kid and a family, and it's about time there's more representation of LGBT uh, people in superheroes, and there's more to come." Um, so this entire thing is about the freak out and where we ought to be going. So I don't know, Lottie. What's your take on this?
So here's my take. I'm not on either side. I'm not on the bigot side. I'm not on the LGBT community side. In my opinion, I really don't think there should be a community of people. We are all people. I don't care about your sexuality. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your background. I could care less. One of my best friends is a redneck. I don't care. One of my best friends is a lesbian woman. I don't care. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter to me because it's I don't see it like this is one of the things that I kind of have a trouble with that I hate the word community because you're separating yourself. You know what I mean? My friend, she's lesbian, but she is my people. She's not LGBT whatever community. She is my friend. You know what I mean? And I just feel like sometimes these communities it causes people to split from each other. And like I said, this all goes back to I do not care that we have a gay, lesbian, whatever binary superhero. I could care less about that. I just feel that I just don't want this to appeal. They're doing this to appeal to the LGBTQ community. I think they should just do it because they just want to make a character that is homosexual, transsexual, or whatever. They just want to make that character. You know what I mean? It's like, for
Hmm.
example, in my video game, I have a transsexual character. It has nothing to do with, oh, I think this will get likes from the community, or I think we should have more of this. I just say, oh, it'll be cool to have a transsexual character doing stuff like this. You know what I mean? I just think it's cool. You know what I mean? And I like I said, so this new Superman is not Clark Kent. This is his son, right?
Right.
So first of all, what is the problem? If it's not, if it, I could understand that some people are like, don't change the character that we grew up with. That is understandable.
Well, I'm I'm
Like,
I'm bothered by that notion anyway. Like this, like as if someone can't have been, hiding or just kind of like repressing themselves, or maybe he just had this has been a new revelation. If it was Clark Kent, I'd be like, so your beef isn't that Clark has changed as a person. It's just that now he wants to fuck guys. What? Why does that stop him from stopping Darkseid? At any point, do any of his morals change? And the answer to that is it depends on who you are, because in the eyes of conservatives, being gay is moral turpitude. Like you're no longer a moral person if you're gay. Not all of them, but a bunch of them think that
mhm.
that's true. And so therefore, because he's the ultimate Boy Scout, he can't possibly be gay because, uh, if that's the case, he's no longer a moral person. It's That's dumb. Like I'll say that straight up. Like people are like, oh, you should respect other no opinion. I'm like, no, fuck that. That opinion is bullshit. It's stupid. And if you hold that opinion, it's on you for holding a dumbass opinion. And I'm gonna call it dumbass right now. So, but if you're saying that Superman can't ever be bisexual, I'm gonna say, well, why not? And if you say, well, he's never been like that, I'm like, every person that you know that's bisexual, you didn't know they were bisexual until they told you or you found out they were bisexual. So how the fuck
Yeah,
can you say they never were?
yeah.
I
See,
and also things change. It's a different time. Like this is not about if they're trying to force, they keep saying they're trying to force this down your throat. No, these people exist. They've always existed. It's that you wanted to just not, you wanted to not acknowledge their presence. You want them to exist, but pretend like they don't exist. And that's the thing. And you were saying that earlier about, communities. The thing is that those communities exist because of oppression. We wouldn't have a black community if oppression didn't require us to kind of like squat up, right? You wouldn't the majority culture forces people who are similarly oppressed to come together for solidarity, because otherwise you're an individual to be stomped on, to be stomped and
yeah,
ground down, and only in solidarity with other people will anyone care. All this stuff about trans people and the oppression of them and all of the uproar about various things that go on and this shit about cancel culture is because there's enough people that get together as a community to say, nah, enough of this shit. Y'all aren't going to grind us down like this without us saying something about it. And I mean, to that point, I suppose the conservative community can can say what they want, and they can be mad about this. But I just feel like I can't be on the side of anyone who wants less freedom, not more freedom. It's your, Superman's, son being bisexual doesn't change, it doesn't make Lois and Clark not be married. It doesn't make any straight person's relationship stop being, it doesn't make it stop being worth anything or not existing. And in this case, it's just someone trying to be happy with themselves. And the authors want to show to the world that yes, there are people who aren't, straight white male or female Christian, whatever. There's all sorts of people that can be superheroes, and so for people who've commonly been shut out of being represented like that, that's the whole point of inclusion and diversity. Is to show people who have been commonly shut out by the majority, existing in these roles. So it's just like
Mhm.
I'm just like I look at it every time I see that the backlash being like, oh, why don't you make your own heroes? Because you motherfuckers will make up an excuse to not support it. That's why. Don't be, like people want to act stupid like they don't know these things. Okay, we create a new gay hero and no one buys their fucking book because they're not Batman.
But I feel like that is a little bit of a cross thing where I know for a fact one of the most popular anime villains of all time is transsexual. And you know who that is, right?
I don't know.
Orochimaru. Orochimaru is
But
trans,
I would,
100%
I'll say this.
transsexual.
I'll say this. He is not a trans person. He to me, if he's anything, he is a he, but it also is an asexual uh, person because there's
Well,
not.
he is considered trans now because he has a woman's body in Boruto. Like
Oh, oh,
100%.
I could see that. The thing is,
Yeah.
here's the thing about transness. I'm gonna. This is an aside, but this is to make sure we all on the same page here. There's a the difference between there's a difference between the sex you are, the sex, actual physical sex versus gender identity. I do not believe that Orochimaru is a trans person because a trans person is a person that's born or has the, this or born with or whatever the sexual assigned at birth of whatever, let's say a male that does not identify as far as their gender is concerned with those, the sex they were assigned at birth. And so I don't believe that he thinks he's a guy, he's a woman. I think that I haven't watched this. I'm just thinking about Orochimaru as I know him, and he has always presented to me, as far as I could tell, as a guy. He's a man,
Yeah.
and
It's because
he's occupying a woman's body. That does not make him a woman. That makes him a
yeah,
man occupying a woman's body.
it's weird now because he calls himself his son's mom.
Yeah,
You know, it's different now.
and that makes sense in the sense that his female body could conceive, but that doesn't make Orochimaru a woman because as far as his gender identity is concerned, I think that he still considers himself to be a guy. And I could be wrong. I'd have to watch the show. But consider that similar situation in a superhero context. If Superman said to anyone, "I've been having these feelings for a long time. I don't feel like I feel like if male is not really the identity, my gender identity. I feel like I've been holding back. That I feel like I've been feeling like more of a woman than a man." Or somewhere along the spectrum, because there's an idea amongst psychologists that there's a spectrum. So it's not
So
just
I
it's
have a
not.
question. So I have a 100% question.
Uh-huh.
And this might seem insensitive, but if Superman decides to become trans, does he change his name from Superman to Super T? You know,
I don't think
I'm
that
just
that's.
saying. That,
I think the thing is that would he change his name if Superman was like I no longer I no longer identify. Let's say, not even say woman.
Car Clint,
No, no,
Car Clint.
Well, I'm saying not
car.
even a woman, not
Yeah.
even a woman. Maybe he says I'm non-binary. I feel like I'm a little bit of both. That's where non-binary is. I'm some of both, and I don't feel comfortable saying one or the other. All right. Well, I mean, maybe he could still say Superman is a name. It's not an identifier. It's a name. So if he wanted to, or if they wanted to continue to be called Superman, they could. That's this is. I think the point I'm trying to make here is just so we understand what we're talking about. That this is about people being allowed to express themselves and be who they are, without some douchebag talking about, how they were born or what, some other person trying to impose their definitions on them.
Hmm.
It's okay if people don't aren't exactly like you, and that is one of the ultimately the problems here, is that people can't accept that other people can be different.
Yeah.
That there can be representation of people that aren't just like you, and people are denying the humanity of these people. So when you say when all these people get all uptight about not even Connor, what the hell is it, John uh, Kent being like, oh, I like guys too. I mean, as you said, who gives a fuck? Is that the main thing about this guy? And and I hear them saying, "Oh well, why are you putting it on display?" Because every fucking straight superhero puts their straightness on display, and everyone thinks it's just normal. So if they can if they can express their heterosexuality, why can't express his bisexuality? Why can't a gay character express their homosexuality? Why not? If Because the idea here is to normalize this shit and not make it so that it's a big deal. It's only a big deal now because it hasn't been treated properly in the past. We're in that space where we got to actually make it so it's normal, so normal that no one fucking asks about it. No one. If you see a dude kissing another dude, it's just a dude kissing another dude. They're together. There you go. You don't have to freak out about it. But I grew up in a time where if you saw that, you were like, "Oh my god!" Right? That that's the
Hmm.
shit I'm talking about. It, we're going through the growing pains right now, and part of the growing pains is bigots have got to get that shit out of their fucking system. They've just got to, and they got to get mad about every time it comes up. They're like, "Stop shoving it in my face." It's getting shoved. It's like when a dog shits in the house. You shove their face in it until they learn not to fucking do it anymore, and that's what got to happen here apparently. That's my opinion. Yes, people who are bigoted, they're like dogs that need to have their noses rubbed in shit so they can learn not to do it anymore. So so I say I'm all for this. I literally was just like, oh, I hope they keep doing this because I love the way it freaks these people out. I love it. That's the sort of thing. That's the sound of people having to learn how to deal with the current reality where being a bigoted asshole is not okay. So let's let's make more of this happen. As far as I'm concerned. So
Hmm.
all right, you guys, off my soapbox right now, so we can move on to the next thing. But I just hope that everyone should have an open mind, read the damn story, don't make judgments based on a stupid ass clickbait headline, and try to have an open mind and heart about not just the character, but who the character represent in the real world. Because if you're different, wouldn't you like other people to have the same sort of empathy that is being asked of you right now? Just think about that. Moving on, let's go to more superhero stuff. Oh wait, um, some shit. Kevin Feige is our our Lord and Savior of the superhero genre, as far as I'm concerned. There are others but he's definitely like the High Lord of it all. Can you believe? Can you believe that the Marvel TV side are the reason why we didn't see we didn't see Ghost Rider and Daredevil and all that in the MCU?
Makes sense.
How dare they? I get it,
Makes
but man, fuck those guys.
Yeah, it makes 100% sense.
Yeah, apparently it was kind of a deal. This is before Marvel Studios kind of became its own thing. It was still underneath the Marvel Entertainment banner. Um, and essentially they shot down Kevin Feige's, and his studio's attempt to sort of get a hold of these characters because they had already had plans to make like the Netflix shows and some other things, and so they're basically the reason why right now we can't have Daredevil in the MCU. So on a scale from 1 to you really fucked up, what did how did they do? How did they do on this particular issue?
I'm gonna be honest. I I like Daredevil, but I think he should remain like TV show. And I don't really see him having a movie. But Ghost Rider, what the fuck? I want to see some damn Ghost Rider. What in the hell? Come on now, y'all tripping. Let's just be honest. Ghost Rider that appeared in the Marvel TV show was trash. Was
Even though I
trash.
did like him in Agents of Shield though,
I liked him, but
but
it was
yeah,
just it
not the
was
same.
trash. And then my boy, my boy Blade. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I see what this was like.
I need to borrow one.
this
Go
is
ahead.
no, this was a strategic move to try to expand the Marvel banner as far and as wide as possible. But unfortunately, their territoriality, is that the word? Whatever. Their
Yeah.
attempt to mark their territory essentially put up a wall between the two. Um, and where only Marvel Entertainment, the TV side, they are like, yeah, we'll reference the movies, and the movies are like, we don't have any control over those characters, so we are not using them. And now all of this shit makes sense, like the lack of the Netflix involvement and whatnot. And
Yep.
so that sucks because that means it's going to take another 5 to 7 years before something meaningful happens with these characters. But yeah, you know what? You done fucked up, Marvel Entertainment. Ike Perlmutter, you're the problem. It's a good thing, like basically you were working there, but barely. And it's a good thing that they took Marvel Studios away from that guy. So, um, I guess the lesson is, man, just give Kevin Feige what he wants. Just give him what he wants. Is it that hard? I'm just saying, like, y'all screwing up. Um, the strike we talked about last week, the
Hmm.
deadline came and passed, but over the weekend, news of the strike being averted with the deal that was struck between leadership of the union and the Producers Guild. Um, but it has not been ratified by the majority of the members of the union. So we're kind of in a limbo right now. But production is still going on. So um, I've heard that not some people are really not happy with the compromise. But I've heard other people being like, "Man, we've just got to take this. We don't actually want to shut everything down. We were just trying to let them know we would." Um, I don't know, Lottie. I know you're not deep into the kind of the weeds of this thing, but uh, I would say you said last week you thought that they would figure it out, right?
Yeah, I felt like they will figure it out. But this is how I feel about this. One of my number one things that I hate the most about like when it comes to unions, all this stuff, is that you have these weak ass leaders of the union that are pretty much friends with the big wigs. And they end up giving them raw deals. And this is one of the things that I feel like it's like this, and I'm pretty sure you hear about this in the NFL with the collective bargaining agreement. The NFL players are pretty much screwed out all the time. Stop giving these old ass people and players these what's it called, these platforms to be representing them. You know why? Because they're at the end of their career, they really don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And at the same time, guess what these owners are like? Hey man, if you if you sign onto this deal, I got a job for you right after the NFL's over. Same thing with the union people. And I am all for don't take the least that they can give you. You deserve better and you deserve more. You're worth a lot more. And I feel like these people need to understand that. Don't just give in just because you want to give in. You know what I mean? Get the best deal possible. And if you have to shut it down, shut it down. Because I rather shut everything down and I rather shut everything down and then sign a deal that I'm not going to be happy with as soon as I sign it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's the thing is like I don't know the specifics. This is not my wheelhouse. I understand that they didn't quite get the time off and the shorter work day. They got a shorter work day, but it wasn't like exactly what they wanted. There's pay
Mm-hmm.
increases, but they weren't as they say, a good deal is one where everyone's not no where nobody's happy about it. But it seems to me like I've been trying to see if there's more talk about where the union's sort of heading, and it doesn't, as far as I can tell, probably it's going to get ratified, but there are a bunch of sticking points and they might actually have to go back to the drawing board. But for now, because there was a deal that was struck and because it has to go to the various you know, um, the unions has various like auxiliaries and whatever, and they have to all sit and talk about it and shit like that. It may be some time before it goes back for revisions, but the point is that it's being worked on, so Hollywood doesn't stop. And I'm selfish. I do support the unions. I support the workers. I'm for them. I was for what they're doing. But the selfish part of me is like, yes, this means that uh, they're going to keep on working on all these movies that I care about. So I selfishly, I'm like, for now, I'm just like, yes, y'all keep on working because Black Panther 2 needs to come out on time, baby. So, well, we'll keep an eye on this and we'll see what happens. But I feel like it's just going to pass. So, good deal. We got speaking of Black Panther 2, Marvel moved their slate around. Uh and yeah, it's look, uh I'm not happy about this. I know Lottie, you're not happy about this either. And this is just the pandemic, and also the pandemic is probably the main thing here for two reasons. One, because of COVID and the protocols and everything, the cost of doing business isn't just higher, but the cost of a failed COVID test is high because it basically shuts the sets down, right? So
Yep.
it requires more time to shoot movies or TV shows. And then, of course, there's the fact that the box office is still depressed despite all of the good news about Shang-Chi and all. It's still depressed. So the return on investment is not quite as good for big budget anything as it would have been in a non-pandemic year. And so you basically have two good justifications to kind of push things off. Um, despite the fact that there's not a lot of widespread lockdowns anymore. And so essentially, we got a bunch of things that were starting in next year that are being moved between 2 to 3 months to up to 6, 7, 8 months. Like for instance, the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it's getting pushed to May, from March to May, March 25th to May 6th. Thor: Love and Thunder was going to be in May 6th. It goes to July 8th. Wakanda Forever goes from July 8th to November 11th. So that you're talking about, half a year, or just almost a half a year. I think it's 5 months. The Marvels no longer in 2022. It is now going to be in February 17th of 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania goes from beginning of 2023 to mid 2023 in July on July 28th. They had two previously untitled Marvel movies that they've taken off of the schedule. that those were supposed to be on the 28th of July and the 6th of October in 2023. And they moved another untitled movie to the 3rd of November of 2023. So basically what you're seeing is, the movement of the titled movies is basically pushing a bunch of things off. So the tightly run schedule gets kind of out of whack. I think this is also the reason why the rumor of Miss Marvel going to mid-year next year was floating around, because if the Marvels isn't until the beginning, February of 2023, there's no reason for Miss Marvel to come out a whole year early. And so I suspect that's the reason for that. So, Ladi, my question for you is, which gods do we have to sacrifice to in order to make this shit go away so we can get our stuff when it's supposed to come out?
We have done something to anger the nerd gods. Because it feels like all nerd are just suffering right now, because it's not just affecting the movie industry. It's affecting the gaming industry. It's affecting all different type of stuff. There are games that have to be pushed back 6 months to a year back. There are tech that is supposed to be coming out. Like, I had to tell my friend, because one of my friends, he's trying to hold out to buy a graphics card. He's like, I'm just gonna wait till RDNA 3 comes out, and I'm like, you're gonna be waiting 2 years, homeboy. And he was like, well, I thought it was coming out the end of next year. Nah, bruh.
Yeah, that's directly related to supply issues, but
Yep.
it's the same thing, man. It's just
Yeah.
the thanks to the pandemic, production is off, and also
Yep.
retail is like retail is not.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is all. It's like I was trying to explain this to somebody, because they're like, what is there? He was like, what is there? He said, what's the problem? There shouldn't be a shortage anymore. And I said, you guys do not understand. There's a shortage in the most important resource on the planet. And you know what that shortage is? Human power. Because if one person gets COVID, you know what happens? The whole entire operation is shut down for 2 weeks, because they're all in close. Can you imagine one person on set, like the director or the producer or one of the actors, gets COVID? The whole entire production is shut down for 2 weeks.
That actually,
And that's,
and in fact, that happened last year or
yeah,
early in the year with remember when Robert Pattinson got COVID, and
yeah,
and because he's a star, for 2 weeks they could not film.
yeah,
This is what, like, this is like for real. But it's like I said, it's not just that. It's just not as many people are going to the movies, and
yeah.
you cannot sustain, like, Black Widow is a prime example of a movie that in any other, even, I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's all right. It's, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But as Marvel movies go, it probably should have made $600 to $650 million.
Yeah.
Right about, probably about that. Going on its quality and the appeal of the character, and it didn't make that at all. So you can't be. But they spent a good penny on it. They can't be doing that. The money math doesn't work to spend $200 million, or even let's say $100 million, or $150 million, and you can't make but twice the amount. Let's say it makes $350 million. That's still short of profitability.
Yeah.
So we're really in a situation where maybe waiting a little bit makes the most sense, especially on things that are not filming yet. That's the key. Things that are
The thing,
not filming yet. Anything that's not being filmed yet is not spending that much money to float along.
I
Now,
really think, and this is where I was telling some of my friends, that this is going to cause the entertainment industry to become very creative, because you just can't leave your fans just sitting idly at home, not doing anything. And this is why I told one of my friends this about, like, video games. I said, why not start releasing games like Miles Morales more often? And he was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Games that are not 40, 50, 60 hour games. Start releasing these 10 to 20 hour games and it costs only about $30 or $40 to buy the game, and keep bringing those out, and while people are waiting for the sequel, where the whole sequel needs all these people because it won't, like, good example, to make the game Miles Morales, they only need maybe a fifth, maybe not even that, a sixth of the people who made Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man game, to make that game, because they already have the engine. They already have everything else. They got to do is just make it look better. That's all they got to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Instead of creating DLC, do this in between. And it's the same way with Marvel and DC. Start making movies. Not movies, like TV shows that are not directly tied in to what is happening in the movies, but they're like happening somewhere else. Start making side quills.
Mhm.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, the problem is that the MCU, its whole claim to fame is everything's connected to everything.
Yeah, you
So,
can have it
yeah,
connected, but it's a side quill. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't have to be a main. It
and,
doesn't have to, like, good example. What's going on with Black Widow with her sister? That has nothing to do with her movie. That movie coming out has nothing to do with the main story of really has anything to do with the main story of MC, but it's connected to it because it's happening at the same time. They should start doing stuff like that now to appease fans.
right.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's really sort of what the TV shows, are for. But it's also there's a money, proposition that needs to be sort of made there, which is all right, it's going to streaming. How do you make money off of that? Because you make money per ticket sale, but everyone that's already subscribed to Disney Plus, you know, are they driving more people, or more people being driven to Disney Plus because of Marvel? That's really the thing about content with streamers, is that it has to make sense money wise, and if you're not growing your base, the more money you put into content, you're trying to keep people rather as opposed to growing it. And right now, Marvel is kind of a driver along with Star Wars for Disney Plus. And for right now, it makes sense because they keep getting new subscribers. But whenever they flatten out, then it's going to be like, how much money are we spending to maintain these people? But it makes sense. They cost less money. But the thing about Marvel shows is that they don't cost. Yeah, relatively speaking, they still cost a good amount of money per episode. So even with, like, say, an 8 or 6 episode in case of Hawkeye, I don't doubt that they spent, 12-15 million dollars per episode. I bet you
Yeah,
I
I'll
bet you
say,
that's what the budget is.
I'll say each Marvel show at least costs 60 to 80 million. I'll confidently say that
Yeah,
60
I
to
mean,
80
I'd
million.
call that for Hawkeye. I have no doubt that 15 million an episode is probably what it was. If I would be extremely
Yeah, I think,
surprised if that wasn't.
Hawkeye, of course, Hawkeye. They probably, like, when it comes to, like, WandaVision, they probably only spent about 30 million on that
No,
movie.
no, on WandaVision, oh, I can guarantee they spent more than that. On CG alone, CG
Well,
alone
the
would have
end, yeah, you're right, you're
just
right.
so they spent a good deal more than that. Not, but they intend to do that. They are giving them movie budgets. But that's what I'm saying. You give things movie budgets, but you're not getting ticket sales. So even there's a limit to how much you can do that for, to tread water essentially while you wait for the box office to recover. So I think this sucks, but I understand what's going on. And I really think that that's probably the smart move, because a 6 month, 3 to 6 month delay will probably see. I predict by the time No Way Home comes out, I think the box office is going to be damn strong for that movie. I think it's
And
I think it'll be. It's not going to be the same as Far From Home, because that's a $1 billion movie. I don't think it will be a $1 billion movie, but I'm thinking it's going to get. I think it's going to be like Fast and Furious, Fast 9 level, which is up in the high 700s. I think it'll be like 8 something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good indication that the delay makes sense. So I don't know. I guess we're gonna see. We're gonna see that. Like I said, this sucks, but we can wait. We can wait a little bit, and Disney Plus is doing its job, and we also have some DC stuff coming out next year to appease our little nerdy superhero loving hearts. So it's not all terrible. So anyway, that's all of our news. Like I said, a good amount of news this week. And but we probably missed some stuff. Let's be honest. I had to cut some stuff out of this. So, but maybe you thought we should have covered something, and there's something that's really got to be in your bonnet and you want to let us know about. So, if that's the case, get down into the comments. Let us know what you're thinking, or of course, hit us up supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter, and we'll chop it up, talk about any of that news that you want to talk about. So, cool. Let's move on to our main topic, and that's the DC Fan-Dimmadome, where DC, the virtual fan, convention, I guess you could call it. I really call it one long, commercial. It's one big long commercial for everything DC is kind of up to. It was 4 hours long on a Saturday afternoon. And really, it was a whole lot of setup for the Batman. Like, can we just say that? Just a 4 hour setup for the Batman trailer that you really wanted. But there was some good stuff in there. I will not deny there was some good stuff in there. And I kind of put together a little list to sort the wheat from the chaff, if you will, within the DC fandom. They were talking about everything DC. So there was a little bit of comic stuff. There was a lot of CW stuff, which you and I don't really watch CW things, so don't really care about much of that stuff.
Nope.
But what we really wanted was the movie stuff, and there was some video game stuff too. We'll get to that. So let's just run down the list, man, of the DC fandom. They started it off like one of the first thing they did was Black Adam.
Big want.
Yeah, starring the Rock as Black Adam.
Big want.
And like here's the thing, and it's got a pretty cool little cast. The Justice Society is going to be in it, and then they had a little bit of a teaser, scene from the movie. And so, Ladi, you saw that footage, and you know about Black Adam and everything. What's your take on that?
Is it wrong for me to not give a damn about anybody else in this movie except for The Rock? Is it wrong of me to feel this way? Like, I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson ever since I was a kid watching him as a wrestler. And now he is one of my favorite villains in comic book history. This is like nerd heaven for me. Like real shit. Like I love Black Adam. I absolutely love Black Adam. I did not like how DC just treats him like he doesn't exist. Like real shit. Like he is one of my favorite villains in DC in like comic book history. There's not very few villains in comic books I like, but Black Adam got a swag to him. Like he has this like, I know I can erase you from existence. I just love, oh man. And the way he picked old dude up and just disintegrated him.
Yeah.
I was just like, my whole entire like nerd, like I had a nerdgasm. Like I was like, oh my goodness, we're finally seeing some live action footage of the Chad as Black Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course they wrapped filming, so really a lot of what's going on right now with them is post production. And I admit it looks pretty fucking good. I love that The Rock. I agree with you. The Rock's one of my favorite, my favorite like celebrities, favorite actors, etc. I've been a fan for years and years. I love the fact that the intensity that The Rock brings to anything he does is definitely on display as in that scene. I think that the design looks excellent. I love the way he Thanos that guy. Uh, uh, so just in general, and I like Black Adam. I like the whole Shazam thing, and he's Magic Superman, but also he's Magic Injustice Superman. Can we say that? He's
Yeah.
so just. I mean, how can't you be excited for this? This is a movie that's been in the works for a while, and it's finally a real thing. And I'm fucking over the moon about this. I'm ready to go. I am ready
This
to
is
go.
this is the first like DC villain that I feel like they're going to get right since Zod. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because they fucked up. Let's just be honest. They fucked up the oh boy, Dark Side. Oh my god.
Well,
Oh
but I only hope that they actually follow through on bringing Darkseid because he's gonna come to Earth and find some shit.
yeah, I hope so. I loved Dark Side is my favorite comic book villain of all time. He has when it comes to comic book villains, it is Dark Side is number one, then it's Brainiac, then it's Joker. Well, actually, no, take that back. Dark Side, Joker, Brainiac, and Black Adam and Zod are like tied. But I love Dark Side. To have his hands behind his back, whooping your ass with his hands behind his back. Come on now, that is some shit. Love Dark Side,
Yeah.
but
I,
we're
wa-
we're,
I,
we're going on a tangent.
well, I would also note that there's definitely, and I've been reading like they're definitely building towards a Shazam versus Black Adam confrontation in the movies. Maybe in um, the third Shazam. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Speaking of, since we're talking about Black Adam, we may as well talk about Shazam uh, 2, which I wish I remember
Hmm.
knew the exact title, but Shazam Part 2. They showed some behind the scenes because they finished filming after Black Adam. And actually, they just wrapped. I want to say they just wrapped on that, not like a few weeks ago. So they don't have any finished footage yet, but they did show some behind the scenes with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as two original, which think of that. For, one of the few times within comic book movies where they actually make an original villain or an original character. So they got some original characters in there, and we got to see the people in their suits and everything like that. I personally am really excited. I love the first Shazam. I can't wait for this next one. I feel like its tone is so much different than the rest of the DCEU, and I'm super excited to see them like the Shazam family taking on basically a bunch of old school magical gods that are trying to wreak havoc on the human race. So I'm with it.
Yep. Love Shazam. Can't wait. Can't wait for Shazam to fight Darkseid.
Oh
I
man,
mean, not Darkseid. I mean, Black
Black
Adam.
Hat. Oh yeah, definitely on that one. We also got a behind the scenes for Aquaman. For the next the Aquaman. Man, let me tell you what. That behind the scenes was pretty dope. Uh, just, I mean, Jason Momoa is perfect as Aquaman. Fight me. I will fight anybody about that. I think
I
he's
mean, he's a
perfect as
great actor in just
yeah.
general.
He's great as Aquaman. But they're also I want to say was that Andy Serkis? I can't remember. He's playing an old king of Atlantis, like the one that he got the armor from originally. So maybe there's going to
Hmm.
be some flashback stuff. You got Orm, the Ocean Master back. Yahya Abdul Mateen looks fucking badass in a brand new Black Manta suit. Like this shit's look. This shit's probably gonna be epic again. That all. Let me say, if you didn't like the first one, first of all, I'm sorry for you because you're wrong. But second of all, if you didn't like that one, you're gonna get 100% more of that in this next one. James Wan is going ham in this. As far as I can tell from behind the scenes, he's going ham. He's doubling down on the tone and the style and the substance of the first one, and we're just going to get more of that. And I, for one, I'm there for it. It looks fucking great to me.
Yeah, I am excited. I love Jason Momoa as a actor in general. He's yeah, great, great, great. Got introduced to him years ago, but I
That,
can't wait to see. Oh, what were you about to say?
no, I was just trying to say I also forgot they did show a little bit of Amber Heard, so I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are going to use that as an excuse to not watch the movie. But I mean, seriously, she's one person in a whole fucking movie. Are y'all really going to just boycott the movie because of one person? And they've already shot the damn scene, so I mean, what are they going to do? Anyway, go ahead.
I'm just, I'm, you know, is DC actually about to do some competent movie making? Nani?
I mean, look, I say it would be nice if they would go on a nice little, winning streak. I would like
Yeah,
that because look.
competition.
I know we're the Marvel Shield cast and everything like that, but I honestly want every single comic book movie that ever comes out to be good. I don't ever
Yeah,
want. I don't. I have no stake in either one of them sucking. I want every one of them to be good because I'm going to show up and sit down and watch it. So I don't want to waste my time.
yeah,
And it looks like they're serious. They're taking this shit serious. They're they're doing the right thing as far as making a damn good story, and then they're improving it with their visuals and everything. So let's go. That's all I'm saying. Let's go. Um, we also wait. Okay, this was a kind of a big news to me. I was like, what? So DC, you love Static Shock. I know Static Shock's one of your jams from back in the day, and
yep.
he was a character from the Milestone comics imprint that DC used to put out. Um, and so they've decided to relaunch, I guess, Milestone in a way with more comics. But as much as that's great. What was really big to me was besides the fact that they are doing a Static Shock movie, which by the way they did not talk about, and that's some bullshit. So who knows where they are on that one? But they announced an animated by Warner Brothers Animation animated Milestone movie, which is to me sounds like it's essentially going to be, hey, here's the Milestone universe. Do you remember Static Shock and Icon, and do you remember the Blood Syndicate, etc. These are names that maybe you know of, maybe you don't, but they're like if you watch Static, they're all
Hmm.
of those characters from Static Shock are Milestone characters, and they're
Yep.
making an animated version of the movie. So that's fucking awesome to me.
Yeah. Oh man, please get Static Shock right, guys. Please, just don't don't hurt my poor soul and my childhood by messing up Static Shock.
Yeah,
Please.
I just want them to make it the Milestone universe be like an alternate Earth, so that at some point Static can actually join the Justice League. That would be fun. That's like he did in the cartoon.
Yep.
Um, they released a little bit of just like little bits of stuff. It's not anything really important, but they had concept art for the new Blue Beetle. I mean, it looks like Blue Beetle. There was trailers for a couple of video games. Um, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League trailer, um, and the Gotham Knights trailer. Now, the Suicide Squad trailer, it's none of this was gameplay, right? None of it was gameplay, but it was in-engine trailers, and so the one that interested me the most was the Gotham Knights thing. I don't know about you. The Gotham Knights is definitely my more interesting trailer.
Yeah, I want to see what they're going to do with this Gotham Knights because uh, the Suicide Squad kills Justice League trailer. It just I feel like this is like I feel like it's almost like Marvel and DC were like, "Hey, let's make the same as that game, but use Suicide Squad and we'll use what's those people called? Uh, um, why is the name escaping me? The Guardians of the Galaxy. We're gonna use those, and it's basically gonna be the same game, but yours is Marvel, yours is DC. Gotham Knight trailer is more. is more of what I like because it seems like it's this. From what I gather, it's this single player that you could play online co-op. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting where I can play as like Nightwing and somebody can play as Batgirl and we can do missions together. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. It's definitely piqued my interest because y'all know the Batman Arkham, the Arkham Knight or Gotham Knights trilogy. I mean not trilogy, the series is just was one of the best things that happened to video games. But
Right.
then Spider-Man came in like a wrecking ball and took and took the title of greatest superhero video game of all time. But I'm interested. I want to see how it does. I may not get this day one, but if I see that it's good, I probably will buy it because it just interests me that I can get online and play as Batman and
Right.
me and my friends can just play co-op together. It's kind of interesting.
I like that they're doing Court of Owls. I mean, like that. That seems like a ripe area, which I don't know why the hell they're not doing that
Hmm.
within the movies and the TV shows. It's ridiculous. Like it's one of the most popular storylines that they've had in the last decade, or maybe last 20 years. So, but they seem to be leaning into that. It looks interesting. I'm definitely interested.
Hmm.
We had a trailer for a long trailer actually for the Peacemaker TV show, which of course is a sequel of sorts to uh, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I took a look at that, and it's actually pretty. It's actually pretty cool. Look, I mean, it's cool. It's cool looking, but also on the flip side, looks kind of low budget.
Yep.
Which I'm like, I okay. I guess it's a guy with a gun with guns, with the, with other people with guns. So maybe they don't have to do a lot of the CG like they did in the Suicide Squad. But there's and it's also very much in the same kind of humor and everything like that. I'm mixed on the trailer to be honest. I was just like, okay, it's still I'm gonna watch it, but I wasn't thrilled by it. I just kind of wanted to get a second trailer and see what they're doing with it. Um,
I just,
there,
I just hope they don't do this whole like series to death. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean because where Peacemaker was at the end of the movie was it was a very kind of dark play. I mean he was basically dead, but
Yeah.
they apparently they saved him, but he's still got a really stupid like attitude, and apparently he's gonna reunite with his dad who trained him, so we're gonna get to see that crazy dude that made him into the crazy person he is. So it's I mean it should be interesting. I have lots of hopes for it, but I just think the trailer wasn't great to me.
Yeah.
There was a short teaser for the League of Super Pets, starring once again Dwayne Johnson as Crypto, the super dog, but Kevin Hart also was in there as the voice of Kevin Hart as the Ace the Bat Hound. Um, Look, I'm gonna watch this, but like I'm only gonna watch it because it's about superpowered pets related to the Justice League. But I think it sounds silly as crap. It's definitely for kids. And The Rock's in it, so why not? We got the Flash teaser. Now this is another like big one. They did a teaser and a scene, I guess, or not teaser trailer for the Flash, starring what's the name? Michael Keaton's gonna be in it. Ezra Miller is reprising his role as Barry Allen, aka the Flash, but also as he's playing with himself, like with another alternate universe, Barry Allen. And there's multiverse stuff going on. I think that this is meant to open up the multiverse in the DC universe.
Yep.
And so we sort of hear Michael Keaton talking as Batman, but we also um, also we see a Supergirl that doesn't exist in any existing DCEU, and I'm hoping maybe we'll see Reverse Flash in this. So it's I thought it was really interesting looking. I'm excited for this, if for no other reason because Michael Keaton's coming back, man.
I just wonder how much makeup and CGI they're gonna have to put on his face not to make him look like an old ass dude. We all know Michael Keaton's kind of old, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what they do. I mean, they're gonna have to pull a rabbit out the hat to make him not look like his age.
I honestly think he is definitely going to be Batman Beyond, uh, Batman Beyond Bruce. I
He's gonna
think
be
that,
old Bruce.
I definitely think that's what he's going to be. He's going to remember when in the first episode of Batman Beyond when Bruce put on the suit.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that. So I think
Wait, hold up! Don't get my hopes up. Don't you?
just look, it's going to happen. Okay.
Don't get my hopes up because I will cry if it doesn't.
We had another trailer for an animated, sort of anime style Catwoman trailer called Catwoman Hunted. Looks interesting. I'm not really huge into the animated DC stuff, so I just thought it was interesting that they did anime style. They talked about also the Batman Cape Crusader TV show. The basically they're saying it's going to be like a more adult oriented Batman the Animated Series from J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm. So, I mean, hell, Batman the Animated Series is one of the greatest cartoons ever. Definitely,
Yep.
if it's not in the top, if it's not the number one, it's in the top two or three greatest superhero cartoons of all time. And I'll even say this: it's one of the best things that's ever happened to superhero media. Period. So that the fact that they're like, we're going to go back and do this, and this is Batman, no superheroes except him, and he's
Yep.
the defender of Gotham City. Um, if you're not excited for this, I want you to check your pulse and make sure your heart's still beating,
Hmm.
because that's not everything about it sounds badass.
Yeah.
I just want to see
I
those.
can't wait.
I just want to see that searchlight going up there,
Hmm.
and like the little 1935 car pulling up, and then that shadow flying over it. Let's go. That's that's what I want. Um, all that being said, let's go to the elephant in the room. The Batman trailer. The Batman trailer. Matt Reeves is the Batman, starring Robert Pattinson. Um, it that trailer. You know what? You give your thoughts first, because I got to get it together over here.
Could this be the best Batman movie ever made? Is it possible? Because I'm gonna be honest, this might be a little spicy for some people, but I feel like The Dark Knight was a overrated series in my opinion. Besides Heath Ledger,
Blasphemy.
and I didn't really like the Dark Knight trilogy, but this man, I was like the trailer just gets me so excited. And then I saw a meme earlier today. Now I know what the meme said. Remember the part where it showed like Catwoman looking like scared? This shows like I guess Batman beating the hell out of somebody. There was a meme on Instagram of like Batman beating the shit out of somebody. And Rob was like, "Okay, he had enough. Wait, you want some of this?" Wait, no. He was like, "No, that's right. For justice, for Gotham." And he just kept going back to beat him up. And I was just like, okay, now I see where the meme came from. Oh man, they're taking, and I love how they called him the Batman, because the Batman was when he was violent. That is the violent Batman. I wonder how much they're gonna skirt rated R in this movie. Like they're gonna skirt the absolute tippy top edge of PG-13. Like I'm talking about, it's like the cusp of PG-13 before that thing gets to rated R.
Mhm.
Because it feels like it feels like this movie's rated R, but I know it's not. It's PG-13.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm excited for it. Oh, I can't wait.
they're going as hard into it as they can. So not a lot of blood, but my God, look, everyone who said Robert Pattinson couldn't be Batman,
Shut the
are
fuck up.
are you, I'm sure you're a fool because you're eating all of your words right now. Um,
Yes.
Jeffrey Wright looking like the best Commissioner Gordon. I love J.K. Simmons, best, but still best Commissioner Gordon, or in this case, Detective Gordon, because apparently this is Batman Year Two. Um, Colin Farrell looking unrecognizable as the Penguin. That little scene at the end where he's like, "I got him," and I was like, you though?" Oh no, you didn't. The fucking Batmobile looking badass, looking
Hmm.
absolutely badass. That final, oh, the Riddler, dude, the Riddler. We don't even see his face, but he seems not just creepy, but like legitimately scary. You know,
Yep.
Zoe Kravitz looks fucking awesome as Catwoman. Just
Yep.
she looks like she's playing the two parts. You know, and to me, that hallway scene with the people shooting at him.
Yeah.
If you're, I'll just say this: if you are still a criminal in Gotham City after the events of this movie, you're either one of the most cold blooded motherfuckers in existence, or you're stupid as shit. It's one of the two, or you could be a combination. But like on the real, after seeing the way he was going ham on those fake ass Joker kids, and he was going ham on those mobsters that were shooting at him, and then seeing the way he Michael Myers stalked the Penguin after he thought he got exploded. That final scene upside down, and I'm just like, no wonder people are afraid of that. That's the thing. I've never understood from the movies. Have never let me understand why the underworld is afraid of Batman.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I've understood that they were wary of him because he is an ass kicker, but I've never seen them be afraid the way they said in the '89 Batman. I want them to be afraid of, or even Christian Bale's Batman said, "I'm afraid of them. I want them to be afraid of me." This is where I see why they were afraid of him, because that was a terrifying like that was hair raising to me, that final
Yeah.
scene. And I'm like, if that's what criminals see when they see Batman, no wonder these motherfuckers like are scared of him. No wonder. It's what
Yep.
a magnificent trailer, and I'm
Yep.
I'm hyped as shit for this movie. Whoo, yeah.
Right.
That's you said nerdgasm earlier. That was what I got with that trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for this is DC's way of saying, "Motherfuckers, we back."
And that's coming in March too, so it's right around the corner. Really, it's like
Yep.
4 or 5 months away. So excited. And there was more in DC fandom. We are not going to cover all the rest of that stuff. That was what was important to us. But of course, maybe you guys were more interested in some of the other things. Maybe you had some things to say about our commentary, or just in general, want to let us know what you think. If you do, get down to the comments, let us know what you're talking about. Of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're in the mood to, click and, kind of interact, why don't you get down there, hit that subscribe button, and join the Super Not Funny Show family. Of course, you can always hit that notification bell to let you know when we drop new content. And of course, the Super Not Funny Show Supercast wouldn't be what it is without the commentary, insight, and comedic stylings of my good friend Ladi. So, Ladi, let them know where they can hit you up on social media.
Oh yeah, you can always find me at my Instagram. My Instagram is Anukinihun. It is spelled ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. I've been slacking for a little bit. I haven't been able to upload stuff on my Instagram lately, but I'm gonna get back to start uploading again. And of course, you can also follow me on my YouTube channel, Kinihun 25. I'm about to start uploading some horror. I mean, streaming some horror games soon. So you guys can always, come join the stream and get a few scares. Still got about a week left in the spooky month of October. So always catch the stream. They're late night.
Yep. Make sure when you do, turn off all the lights and make sure everything's silent in the house. All right. Yeah, you guys hit that up. Show Lottie some love. So, all right. That was episode 23 of the Supercast. Come back next week. We're gonna finally. I'm saying we're gonna finally get around to talking about Harley Quinn. I know we've been kind of putting it off because of other things. We're gonna talk about Harley Quinn this coming week, guaranteed. So come back and join us for that. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupe, your resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and of course, lover of all things superhero, my friend Ladi. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.